I'm rewatching the Twilight series. I do it every year, and it reminded me of this time in 2007 on Facebook when people expressed themselves through buttons, not merch, not emojis, not hashtags, but these literal buttons that you would put on your Facebook profile. This entire digital personality crisis was inspired by a cult movie from 1999 about workplace misery and flair. Yes, I am talking about Office Space. Yes, the bare minimum of 15 pieces of flair scene. Yes, that's the origin of one of Facebook's weirdest and most influential apps, Pieces of Flair. Facebook had just opened its gates to the public. No longer the pristine Ivy League club, it was a messy digital mall. Mark Zuckerberg had unleashed the Facebook platform, meaning random coders can make apps that lived inside of your profile. The result? A flood of chaotic brilliance. Things like Super Poke, where you could throw sheep at your friends, bumper stickers, which was early meme culture, Compare People, which was kind of like a Tinder meets judgmental MySpace quiz.
I kind of wish I could dance. the problem is I'm really bad at it. I just got this Facebook application, Compare People, and within an hour I was ranked like 400.
It was actually terrible. And then, of course, Pieces of Flair. It was made by two indie developers, Raphael and Tom Suarez Mason, under a small startup called Tasty Pie. They weren't trying to make $1 billion or anything. They were trying to make Facebook funny. So picture this. Your Facebook profile in 2008 didn't look like it does now. It was white, boxy, it had actual tabs and boxes. Pieces of Flair added a section, like a corkboard, to your page, and on it, dozens of round, shiny 200 pixel buttons that said things like Team Edward, Team Jacob, Forks Forever, Bite Me, and Cold Hands, Warm Heart. That was my favorite. Anyway, it looked like your Hot Topic backpack had been digitized and given an RSS feed. You could drag and arrange your flair. You could send flair to friends, and you could even make your own flair, which made fandoms explode inside this tiny, ridiculous app. So this was 2007. The Twilight movies didn't exist yet. It was still just YA books, and the series just quietly melted the brains of teenage girls and young mothers like myself before the films were even out. Like, people visualized the story, the symbolism. So Team Edward buttons showed red apples, crescent moons, hearts, blood. Team Jacob had paws, prints, howling stuff. And then there was the can't I have both crowd. And they used like half apple, half wolf. This was the original fandom merch economy, powered entirely by emotional chaos and .png uploads. Your corkboard was your identity. Were you romantic and tortured? Team Edward. Warm-hearted and loyal? Team Jacob. Indecisive and self-aware? Can't I have both? So if this sounds familiar, it's called proto-stan culture. It was just quieter with more beige backgrounds. So why Pieces of Flair? Because of the 1999 film Office Space, in one of the movie's most famous scenes, Jennifer Aniston wears like a TGI Fridays knockoff thingy where employees are required to wear a minimum of 15 pieces of flair. Her boss nags her about it. Don't you want to express yourself? And that line became an inside joke in tech and nerd circles. More flair meant more customization, more chaos, more personality. So when these two developers created a corkboard for Facebook and its users to express themselves with virtual pins, they named it Pieces of Flair as a tongue-in-cheek homage. And just like in Office Space, the app turned personal expression into performative art. Your personality wasn't who you were, it's the what buttons you had collected. If you had Team Edward next to I love coffee, next to Sarcasm is my superpower, congratulations, you are now a fully realized 2007 human being. This silly little app taught early internet users how to perform identity online. Every fandom, from Twilight to Doctor Who, used it to mark territory. These corkboards were proto dashboards, proto Pinterest boards, proto aesthetic mood boards. It was a low stakes way to say, this is who I am. These are my tribes. These are my inside jokes. Before algorithms, before they decided what we saw, we did it one button at a time. It was chaotic, it was creative, it was genuinely fun. And the aesthetic, it shaped now how fandoms have behaved for years. Deviant art banners, icons, early Tumblr, all sorts of stuff has been laid by this pipe work. Then came 2009 and Facebook redesigned everything, removing profile boxes and tabs. Apps like Pieces of Flair, Super Poke, and Graffiti, they all quietly got evicted. The Corkboards disappeared overnight, and with them an entire mode of fandom expression. But if you were there, you remember the feeling of logging in and rearranging your flair. You weren't just posting, you were curating yourself. That's the same impulse that drives TikTok today, especially now. It's video edits instead of buttons. So the next time you scroll past a Team Edward or Team Jacob debate, just remember, before there were edits, before there were ships, before there was Tumblr, there was a corkboard, there were buttons, and there were a bunch of girls with exactly 37 pieces of flair on their Facebook profiles. And if your flair included save the drama for your llama, you probably still overthink text messages.